Hello, 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 my friends. Kaitlyn here, and let's talk a little bit about mental health this week. Usually we talk about managing our personal mental health, but what if you know someone who's struggling with depression or another mental illness? So this is another subscriber question, and it comes from Ed, and he asks, how do you cope when someone in your family is suffering from depression? I have a family member who has depression, and it got really bad last year. I didn't know what to do, and everything I did felt inadequate. It even got to the point where I felt like the depression was infecting me. So what advice would you give people who are trying to help someone who has depression? Oh man, I am sorry that your family member is going through a mental health struggle right now, but I can't commend you enough for trying to be there for them. So the first thing you've got to recognize is that you are not a therapist or psychiatrist. You're not professionally trained to help someone deal with their mental illness. And that's okay. That's not your job. It's 100% their job to seek the appropriate help that they need to get better. Sometimes they're able to do it, and sometimes it's like pulling teeth and it might take years before they're really able to buckle down and do it. But all you can do is encourage them to seek professional help, not try to be their personal therapist. I have done that, and I know that it does not work. And it's a really easy trap to fall into, especially if you're dealing with someone who isn't officially diagnosed and maybe doesn't want to get help for whatever reason. It leads to emotional abuse and codependency and just really bad situations. Now, maybe this person is seeking help, but you still feel like you need to do something for them. So as someone who's dealt with depression for years, it's very common to either have friends who kind of distance themselves from you because they don't quite know how to help, or they don't know how to deal with the struggles that you're going through, or they're so empathetic that it really takes a toll on them worrying about you and wanting to find some way to fix your problems. I get both of those points of view, and most of the time we talk about the former on my channel because I want to help destigmatize mental health. And part of that is helping people not be afraid of their friends or family members if they have a mental illness, because that's actually when they need their support the most. But there's also the opposite side of that, which it sounds like Ed is residing in, and that's when you can really suffer from emotional burnout. This is a problem among caregivers of all kinds, whether professional or not. We try to help someone else who's struggling, a lot of times we forget to take care of ourselves. Have you ever heard the airplane metaphor? So when you're on an airplane and there's a drop in cabin pressure and the little yellow oxygen mask drop down, what does the airline attendant tell you in the pre-flight safety speech that everyone ignores? They say to put on your mask first before assisting others. Now, why is that? Shouldn't you make sure your child or your elderly seat neighbor has oxygen first? Because don't they seem like the most susceptible ones because they need your help? Yes, but if you don't put on yours first, you might run out of oxygen, and then you can't save yourself or anyone else. This is one of the most common metaphors when talking about caregiver burnout because it very succinctly lays out why self-care is the most important first step in being a good caregiver. You just can't help others if you're suffering yourself. So if you're trying to help someone through a mental health struggle, don't forget to take a step back, assess your own mental health, and do what you need to do to make sure that you're mentally sound and happy. I know this can be extra hard if you're dealing with a family member who's struggling, especially if you live with them, because there's just not enough space for you to be able to step back and prioritize your own mental health. And that's really when asking for help probably comes in. Like talking to your friends and other family members and be like, hey, I'm trying to be supportive for this person, but it's really getting to me. Could you step up for a little while I work on myself? I have had a super hard time asking for help when I needed it throughout the years, but trust me, it is much better than running yourself into the ground while trying to be everyone's superhero. Well, there's no easy answer to helping a friend or family member through a mental health struggle, but my best advice is that you can't help anyone unless you yourself are feeling strong. And sometimes you're not going to, but having the foresight to know that you need to step back when that happens is going to be a lifesaver. For the question today, what's been your experience helping a friend or family member dealing with a mental illness? Or maybe how has someone helped you if you've been the one in crisis? Tell me down in the comments. Plus remember that you can submit your own question or topic to be featured in the video or blog. Just click over here and fill out this super easy form on my website. And as always, you can check me out on these other social media sites. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know the moment there's a new video. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye!